Dream Better English with James O'Reilly. Hi guys, welcome to the episode. I'm hoping to help you with your listening English today through a few different articles from around the world, also helping you with vocabulary, grammar and expressions. Okay, so let's jump into our first article, which comes from a publication from Iran, believe it or not. This publication is called Iran Wire, and it's an interview that they do with a male escort. A male escort is a man who sells his body for money. So it seems that the demand for male escorts has appeared in Tehran, the capital of Iran. And for young males in Tehran, this can offer some unimaginable material wealth, but it also exposes them to serious health risks. And we'll be looking at this interview. So let's get into the interview. It starts off by saying he's tall, massive arms, a six-pack of concrete. A six-pack is your abdominals, and he's got tan skin, green eyes, and long hair. When he looks at you and smiles, he looks like a fashion model. Armin is the man's name, and he is a lifeguard in one of the rich neighborhoods of the north of Tehran. His family thinks that his money comes from his job as a lifeguard, but they would be wrong. He says I am called a call boy or a gigolo, he explains. Call boy is an English term where, as I explained earlier, for men who accept money in return for sexual favors. Prostitution for men is on the rise in Tehran, or in Iran in general, especially in the larger towns, explains a sociologist who lives in Tehran. This phenomenon has especially become fashionable in the upper classes of society in the last few years. Armin says, to tell you the truth, I didn't choose this job, it just happened by accident. We were doing what is called door-door. This is where boys and girls go up and down in their cars along the main streets of the city. They exchange glances, they chat each other up, and then they pick each other up by exchanging numbers. And at one point, a woman in a Porsche approached him. They spoke, they exchanged numbers, and they had a laugh. So he never imagined that this woman would later contact him. He said, I was a little bit drunk, I was with my friend, the Porsche caught our attention, and we exchanged numbers. The next day, however, the woman called him and she said, hey, if you're the guy with the green eyes, let's talk, because I'm not really interested in your friend. That evening, the lady invited him, and the lady's name is Beta. She invited him to a restaurant, and he said, I went out of curiosity. I also told my friend, but later Beta invited me to her house for a tea. Her apartment is situated in the luxurious northern part of Tehran, around 300 square meters, or meters squared. There, when she made a pass at me, I went along with it just for the fun. And I thought to myself, well, it's just going to be for one night. But the story doesn't end there. The second time, he said he didn't accept her invitation until she paid him what in euros would be 210 euros, 1 million tomans in Iranian currency. And this, in fact, would be the beginning salary for a young engineer. So for every time that they met up, she would give him 210 euros. She said, my husband's dead. My children are abroad. I've inherited a lot, and I haven't remarried because I can't deal with older people, older men. Young people don't want me unless they want me for my money, and this way I can pay and nobody's going to cheat on me. For the Iranian sociologist, he believes that elsewhere in the world, men as well as women have medical cards that allow them to freely do this job and to prove that they are in good health. But in Tehran or in Iran, men and women have to play this game out secretly away from the eyes of the public, which can have serious health consequences where people don't protect themselves adequately or properly. Since his meeting with Beta, Armin has realized that or become more aware of the compliments he gets from women that are older. And he's realized that all the potential clients that he has around him, for example, one of his students at the swimming pool, his grandmother keeps giving him compliments, or kept giving him compliments. And in the end, she became one of his clients. She's 62 and she's a widow, which means that her husband is dead or has died. So nowadays, Armin has 8 clients. Some of them he has met through other clients, and he said he earns around 600 euros a month and often double, which is a crazy amount. So since then, he has resolved a lot of his problems, but he still continues to do his classes at the swimming pool. He works out, and he also does UV sessions or tanning sessions. So he's saying that what he earns from this is not his net income, because he has to still spend money to take care of himself in order to have more clients. He said it can be very lucrative, though. One time a client kept me until dawn. Dawn is around 6 o'clock in the morning when the sun begins to rise. And she gave me a big gold coin. Later he realized that this gold coin was worth about 7,300 euros. It seems that this job could be easier for men than women. Let's see. One of his clients is very religious. She's 57 or 58 years old, and before every time that they have sexual relations, this is quite interesting. They marry temporarily, which is possible in Islam. So they marry by telephone using a man from Qom, which is a religious town in Iran, and he marries them religiously for a period of 3 hours. Very interesting. Okay, so according to the Iranian sociologist, there is a negative view of female prostitutes, and they are often exposed to depression and other problems. However, it's not so severe for the men. The sociologist even knows of a gigolo who openly talks about his job and defends it with the philosophy of saying everyone has their way of earning a living. Some use their hands, some use their minds, and I use my private parts, my penis. On the other hand, for women, they often keep it quiet, and they keep it to themselves, and they often seem more depressed in their job. So there you go. That's a very interesting article from Iran Wire about male escorts. A couple of phrasal verbs that I want to draw your attention to there are to pick up. To pick up means to successfully meet someone somewhere, and a man or a woman, and you exchange numbers, or you go away with them. You never met them before, and you pick them up. The process before this is to chat up, where you're talking to them, you're trying to be with them, you're chatting them up. That's to chat up. To make a pass at someone would be, let's say, for example, you're chatting someone up, and then you try and kiss that person. That is to make a pass at somebody. And if you think, oh, okay, I'll just let that person kiss me, or you're going along with it. To go along with something means to accept it. Yes, that's exactly what that means. And finally, it wasn't mentioned in the article, but the lady says she can't deal with older men, or she can't stand would be a stronger way to say it. Miss, I really hate something. It's like, I can't stand it. So there you go. That is our article from Tehran about escorts. Okay, our next story comes from London this time. This is an interesting story which involves a free climber. A free climber is a person who climbs something without the use of ropes or anything to help. So what happened was a daredevil free climber scaled or climbed the Shard, which is one of the tallest buildings in Europe. Amazed onlookers posted footage of the climber, who made most of the ascent without the ropes or suction cups. He was recorded near the top of the 1,017-foot, 95-storey skyscraper in central London at just after 5 a.m. So a story is a level in a building. So or a floor. If a building has 4 floors, you could also say it has 4 stories. A Metropolitan Police spokesman confirmed that they managed to get the climber inside the building, where he was spoken to by officers, or police officers, but not arrested. And a spokesman for the real estate management, the company that operates the Shard building, said, "We dealt with an incident with the Shard earlier this morning involving a member of the public who climbed the building. The person was safely apprehended or caught and detained by police. Some areas around the base or the bottom of the Shard that were closed to the public as a safety precaution have now been partially reopened." So partially means a little bit, not complete, not fully, not completely. Public safety and security of the people who live, work and visit the Shard and the surrounding area is of paramount importance to us. Paramount means extreme importance, very important. Fortunately, no one was hurt by this dangerous activity, and we will be assisting the police with their investigation. So, previous climbers who have set their sights on the iconic building include YouTuber Cass Online, who climbed from the public viewing platform to the apex, or the top, in 2017. In 2013, a group of Greenpeace activists also scaled the building to protest against oil drilling, or looking for oil, in the Arctic. And the previous year, the Shard secured a High Court injunction against Alain Robert, the climber nicknamed the French Spider-Man, to stop him attempting to scale the building. So an injunction is a legal document to stop somebody from beginning something or continuing to do something. And staying in the UK, we have a story from Metro magazine titled "Meet the UK's Kindest Security Guard." A dad or a father has been called the kindest security guard in the UK, United Kingdom, because he regularly helps elderly people. He regularly helps elderly people with their shopping and even escorts them home safely. It's interesting we have escort here, because escort in this sense means to bring. And so he's not escorting elderly people, which are very old people, and even escorts them home safely. Brendan Rose was heaped with praise after eagle-eyed locals spotted him helping an elderly woman get back to her care home. Eagle-eyed, which means people that are very... they notice things. They're eagle-eyed. They notice very small details. The 30-year-old, who works at Sainsbury's, which is a shopping centre in Canterbury, Kent, regularly walks frail customers home from the store with their shopping. But his goodwill only came to light after a passerby posted it on a Facebook group. But he insists he is doing nothing out of the ordinary and that this type of behaviour should be the norm. This should be normal. He said, "I was brought up respecting my elders and helping anyone who needs it, even if this is just helping someone cross the road." Brendan has worked for security company Mighty for 2 years and can be seen at the Sainsbury's stores 4 or 5 days a week. He says he regularly walks elderly people home, including one 96-year-old who often ventures out after dark. Late at night. He said she comes out late at night sometimes. She once came out at 10 p.m, not realising how late it was, thinking that the butcher is the person who sells meat, thinking that the butcher would be open. So I walk her home, make sure she gets back safely. The lady I was seen walking home is a regular